Hello, my name is Andrew Collins and I'm a Telly Addict. This week, The Missing, Tutankhamun, Zapped and Divorce. First, not one but two bird spotting teasers in last week's Great British Bake Off. Great British Bake Off? Great British Bird Off, more like. An easy one to start, that's a goldfinch. I didn't even have to consult my birding guru, Dave Keach from Kettering, to chalk that one up. But they slotted this chap into the mix straight after the opening credits. What the blinking heck was that? I don't mean to sound all Brexity, but I suspect that this duck is not from round these parts.
So I need to do the next batch and get it in as soon as physically possible.
OK, bakers, as Anne of Cleves said to Henry VIII, you're 2/3 of the way through.
Identify that duck. Guess what? First dates are trying to get in on the ornithological act too. No, not the paper one, this one.
Today we've got a new wine on offer on the menu.
Quite an easy one to start, but it's early days for first dates. Right, that's enough life-affirming fun. Time to get gloomy. Television loves a returning series, and The Missing returned 2 years after its first series, and in this brand new mystery, a girl returns 11 years after going missing. So we get a different set of parents grieving and coping in the present day. Except that's not the present day. This is. Where is it? Well, but back in 2014, we're in... When we go back to 2003, the year the girl was abducted, 11 years before she escapes, they don't seem to caption the year, so we have to use Keeley Hawes changing hairstyle to keep our bearings.
After the van stopped, he opened the door.
She's the mother, bereaved and or relieved, depending on the time frame, obsessed in 2014 by photos taken on a roller coaster in the present when she has a bob, and yet to become obsessed in 2003 when she has long hair. Keeping up? I'm not sure I am, and I'm saying it.
11 years we've waited. I can't believe it.
Keeley Hawes and David Morrissey are two of my favourite actors on television, and they convey the agony of parental loss and the agony of reunion with effortless subtlety. Look at the controlled explosion of a military man and protective dad after hearing of his daughter's abuse in captivity. Director Ben Channon proves a match for Tom Shankland, who did such subtle work with light and atmosphere on Series 1, and The Missing looks as forbidding as ever. That was a deliberate homage to French series The Return, surely. Either way, let's hope the nifty writers Jack and Harry Williams can keep the ball in the air. The first series was 6 episodes of story stretched out to 8 episodes, but we forgave it because it was so well done. Episode 1 posed plenty of questions. Let's hope we get some answers. Why not? Things were a lot plainer and more factual in ITV's latest Sunday night period drama.
Nebuchadnezzar is the coronation name of the pharaoh that was known afterwards as Amun-Tut-Ankh, or Tutankhamun.
I remember. The heretic.
Akhenaten was the heretic. This is his son.
Max Irons there as Howard Carter. Who's he?
Mr. Carter is an eminent archaeologist.
My apologies, Miss Lewis.
Tutankhamun fills the most important slot in television, recently vacated by the poldark worrying smash hit Victoria, and takes place just after the end of her reign. It's all very helpful and informative and rooted in fact, so almost bereft of jeopardy, just like Victoria, come to think of it, and that did it no harm. Written by Guy Burt, whose Bletchley Circle I was very fond of, it's proper escapism, and in tone, pace, visuals, and obviously put on American accents, it feels very much like a Poirot.
What the hell's going on?
Some idiot kid shot the Archduke of Austria and his wife. We just got it on the wire an hour ago. So now all the crowned heads of Europe are at each other's throats.
Director Peter Weber knows what he's doing. He directed The Girl with the Pearl Earring, and the result is a ripping yarn that will do, as long as you can get past the colonial sense of entitlement that allowed these Brits to desecrate ancient burial sites like they owned the place. Still, they managed a poldark moment to distract us.
Oh, they went to Luxor. Started up again there.
I'm sure there'll be some kind of romance for Dr. Carter, but at this early stage, he's hardly an unstoppable sex machine. Some new comedy next, which is set not in the antiquated past, but in a parallel present.
What is going on?
Hello! I'm Barbara, fully qualified soothsayer. And that is a real branch of witchcraft.
He's clearly a necromancer. I can smell him from here.
Hey, no trouble in my pub.
I'm not sure what's happening. Clearly I've gone mad. I'm going now. Goodbye.
Written by Dan Gaster, Will Ing and Paul Powell, Zapped finds a rich seam of sci-fi comedy from the Jetsons via Sleeper to Red Dwarf, also on Dave, and is related only by coincidence to the recent Tripped on E4, which also featured an in-betweener being zapped into a fantasy world, but suffixed its comedy with drama. There's none of that here.
Are you Brian Weaver?
Yes.
Of Ib Waverley House?
1B. Middlesex.
Fantasy aside, it's a pub-based sitcom about people arguing, imaginatively cast with James Buckley, Paul Kay, Sharon Rooney, Ken Collard and Lewis Emmerich, plus cameos, and I like what I'll call the cost-effectiveness of its CGI. It's a 3-episode pilot, which is the very thing in TV currently, so give it a spin at UKTV Play. And if your favourite character doesn't turn out to be Steg, I'll be surprised.
Thanks for coming, everyone. We are all outsiders. We have all fought battles. You, as warriors, have fought physical battles. I, as half-giant, half-dwarf, have fought verbal battles.
There are more verbal battles taking place on HBO.
I called your friend Jay.
Julian?
And it became apparent within about 30 seconds that the two of you have been for quite a while. Just out of curiosity, did you have sex with him and me yesterday? Because officially, that would mean you were gangbanged. I want you out of our lives, Francis. And I want you out of my house. If I'm perfectly honest, you disgust me now.
HBO is still shorthand for sophisticated grown-up drama, but Divorce is its latest crack at half-hour sitcom. That said, its best comedies, Girls, Veep, Silicon Valley, are also secretly sophisticated dramas. For UK viewers, in the late 90s, Sex and the City helped define the network, and fans will be happy to imagine Sarah Jessica Parker is playing Carrie 12 years later, except she's not happy.
Sometimes I come home from work and I'm happy. I actually feel happy. And then I see your car there parked and I realize you're home and my heart sinks.
She's compulsively believable as an almost existentially miserable spouse, and when she spills her guts to her dutiful but dull husband, Thomas Hayden Church, you're sad for the pair of them, but glad that she brought it up.
I don't love you anymore. I want a divorce. Oh, God, Robert.
Divorce is a funny kind of comedy in that much of it is cruel and cynical, and it's set in a moneyed upstate New York milieu which doesn't exactly beg for empathy. But the outsider hand of foreign worker Sharon Horgan is strong in the writing.
Did you see how much weight he's put on? No, I hadn't really. He did it on purpose. It was 100% just to revolt me. Go on, keep spooning it in, you fat
I'm not sure there's enough in it to love at this stage, but I'll stick with it. I preferred Happy-ish with Steve Coogan and Catherine Hahn on Showtime, which also featured well-off couples in snowy Woodstock, but was cancelled, just to annoy me. A moment of zen then. This week's features a monkey from BBC One's self-explanatory Animal Babies, but it helps if you picture this 80s rock icon first.
It's a big day in the life of one of their youngest members, although he doesn't know it yet.
Thanks for watching. The item on the coffee table this week was the first punk single I ever bought in 1979, aged 14, when Sid Vicious had died. Next, I'll be reviewing some more things off the telly, but in the meantime, why don't you subscribe to the UKTV YouTube channel? Or you could watch last week's Telly Addict again, or why not watch some of the full-length episodes of Zapped on UKTV Play. See you next week.